The sport of tennis has been going through many changes recently, with tennis legends slowly fading away and retiring, and young prodigies coming to the fore. The old guard is slowly passing the torch to the new generation of future tennis greats, and this has made the world #1 ranking, among other things, change hands a whopping 7 times by this time of the year. Welcome to Who's Number 1. In this video, we are going to be taking a look at the top 10 tennis players in the world. But before starting, let us know who you think is going to be number 1 in the comments section below. Think it through, because it will not necessarily be the same as the ATP rankings. With that said, let's get to it. Number 10, Rafael Nadal. Despite currently being the world's number 239 according to the ATP rankings, reputation, class, and a superb 2022 are enough to keep the great Spaniard on this list, with 22 Grand Slam titles, including 14 French Open triumphs to his name. He has been battling injury throughout this entire year, and he may not come back to the court until next year, and for that, some of you may not agree with him being here, but for now, we have to give him the benefit of the doubt. What can we say about Nadal that hasn't been said before? Facing him on the Parisian red clay is arguably the toughest test in all of sport, let alone tennis, and with longevity as impressive as his patented topspin forehand after going 18 straight years inside the top 10, you would be very brave to bet against a healthy Nadal when the majors roll around. Number 9, Taylor Fritz. The American top dog is one of the most dangerous players on the tour and has shown rapid improvement over the past few years. Taylor Fritz achieved a career-high singles ranking of world number 5 in February 2023. And is currently the number 1 American player in the world. He has won 5 ATP Tour singles titles, including a Masters 1000 title at the 2022 Indian Wells Masters, and the 25-year-old's best result in a Grand Slam tournament was reaching the quarterfinals of the 2022 Wimbledon Championships. With a forehand that's able to dole out mass destruction, Fritz possesses the ability to take the racket out of his opponent's hands. Over 20 years have passed since an American man lifted one of tennis's 4 major titles, and so a question arises, can Taylor Fritz end the drought? Number 8, Andrei Rublev. Andrei Rublev has never won a Grand Slam title, but that takes away nothing from the talent that this man has. The Russian is a versatile player that has performed consistently in both singles and doubles events over the years, winning gold in the mixed doubles category at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. The 25-year-old has been ranked as high as world number 5 in singles, which he first achieved in September 2021, and as high as number 53 in doubles, achieved in August 2022. Rublev has won 13 ATP Tour singles titles, including a Masters 1000 title at the 2023 Monte Carlo Masters. The Russian is also the holder of an unfortunate record, as he is the only player in the Open era to have made it to the quarterfinals of all 4 Grand Slams but has failed to advance to the last 4 in every single one of them. Number 7, Casper Ruud. Casper Ruud made the entire tennis world notice him through his performances in 2022, when he reached a career-high men's singles ranking of number 2, becoming the highest-ranked tennis player from Norway till date, and when he became the first Norwegian to reach a Grand Slam final, going on to reach 2 more finals for a total of 3 by 2023. Ruud has won 10 ATP Tour singles titles, 9 of them coming on clay courts, and he played in the 2022 ATP Finals, where he lost the title to Novak Djokovic. With a forehand that'll punch a hole in your racket, Ruud's style is not too dissimilar to a champion who would have no doubt featured on this list a few years ago, by the name of Dominic Thiem. Only 24 years old, Casper Ruud still has a long career ahead of him and is likely to win major championships in the future. Number 6, Holger Rune. At just 20 years old, Holger Rune has already achieved what many professional tennis players strive to emulate in their entire careers. The Danish player has won 4 major titles till date and has reached the 6th position in the men's singles ranking, which no other Danish has ever accomplished. Despite his best Grand Slam result being making it to the quarterfinals of the 2022 French Open, Holger Rune exhibits all the virtues of an incredible tennis player, and a potential master of the game as his career progresses. He became the only man ever to beat 5 top 10 players in the same tournament to become a Masters 1000 champion, and despite being far more raw than the extremely polished Carlos Alcaraz, there is no doubt he will become a permanent fixture in the ATP top 10 for years to come. Number 5, Jannik Sinner. Jannik Sinner has been steadily rising through the rankings over the past few years, and it's not hard to see why. Sinner is the winner of 7 major titles, he has made it to the semi-finals of a Grand Slam, and enjoys a 70% win record, all at the age of 21 years old. He was the youngest ATP title holder since 2008 after winning the 2020 Sofia Open, the youngest to win 5 titles since Novak Djokovic in 2007, and the first player to make it to the top 10 of the ATP men's singles rankings in November 2021. In the changing landscape of men's tennis, Jannik Sinner has an opportunity to become one of the modern-day greats in the future, but whether he capitalizes on this opportunity or not remains to be seen. Number 4, Stefanos Tsitsipas. Stefanos Tsitsipas reminds us of Roger Federer, as his playing style is modeled around the Swiss maestro's game, who is his role model, and he himself is one of the finest among the modern crop of tennis players. Tsitsipas has been ranked as high as world number 3, which he first achieved in August 2021, and which made him the highest-ranked Greek player in history alongside Maria Sakkari. The 24-year-old has won 9 major titles in his career, and has featured in 2 Grand Slam finals till date, losing to Novak Djokovic on both occasions. Despite his finals losses, the Greek has all the tools to compete with the very best every time he steps on court with his rip-roaring forehand and wand-like backhand. Number 3, Daniil Medvedev. A talented player with a strong backhand shot, which at times irks fans and experts to draw a parallel between him and the legendary Roger Federer, Daniil Medvedev has been around in the role of a challenger for the past few years. The Russian player enjoys a 71% win record in ATP Tours and Grand Slams, a stat which speaks volumes of his potential. However, Medvedev's solitary Grand Slam win at the 2021 US Open fails to portray the true picture of the player that he is, as the truth is that he would be a multiple Grand Slam winner if he hadn't run into Djokovic and Nadal multiple times. He fell short of conquering his second Grand Slam title in the US Open just a few days ago, when he was defeated once again by Djokovic. Medvedev rarely misses a tournament and stands as one of the most consistent players on the ATP Tour for years, and as a former world number 1, now 27 years old, he presents a problem for anyone and he seeks to wear down opponents with mammoth baseline rallies. Number 2, Carlos Alcaraz. Carlos Alcaraz won his second career Grand Slam this year at Wimbledon, and despite being number 2 according to the ATP rankings right now, he has spent the most weeks at number 1 so far in 2023. For that, we are sure some of you expected to see him at the top of this list, and that's completely fair. Alcaraz burst into the elite tennis picture last year when he won the US Open, which marked his first Grand Slam win at just 19 years old. After winning it, he became the world's youngest ever number 1 in male tennis history, and though 2023 was looking bright for him, an injury early in the year impeded him from participating in the Australian Open and made him miss 3 months of action, during which he lost his world number 1 spot. But we don't think people actually realize the magnitude of what we are witnessing. Most of the players below him have been at the top of the game for so many years now, as all of them are older than him, and they have yet to win a Grand Slam title, while the Spaniard has already won 2 at just 20 years old. Alcaraz is a human highlight reel, with every match delivering a Point of the Year candidate, and as a brutal hitter with a dash of elegance, the men's game appears to be in great hands once the old guard hang up their rackets for the final time, but until that happens, there is one player who has to be at the top of every list, and that is Number 1, Novak Djokovic. Honestly, it could be no other. As good as Alcaraz may be, Novak Djokovic is not just the best tennis player in the world right now, but he is probably the greatest of all time. The Serbian has won 3 out of the 4 Grand Slams celebrated this year, the first one being the Australian Open in January, where he tied Rafael Nadal for the most Grand Slams ever with 22, then the French Open, where he surpassed the tied record for a total of 23 Grand Slams won, and as of a few days ago, the US Open, where he officially became the first man to win 24 Slam titles, tying Margaret Court for the most ever of any player in any era. He fully deserves this spot for what he has accomplished this season, and for what he has accomplished in his career. Novak Djokovic has spent a record 390 weeks being the world's number 1 in his career, way more than the second player on that list, and we are pretty confident he will surpass 400 by the end of the year, as he is the current world number 1. The 36-year-old seems to get better with age, and at this point, he has nothing to prove to anybody but him. The only thing left for Djokovic is to continue to distance himself from the other tennis greats so that his legacy becomes even harder to match. So, do you agree with our pick for the top spot? Or do you think that Carlos Alcaraz has finally accomplished enough to be number 1? Let us know in the comments section below. If you have enjoyed the video, Be sure to let us know by clicking the thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our weekly top 10 videos. Thank you for watching. This is Who's Number 1. See you next time.